Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world and you have found this video. Welcome back to Failing is Not an Option, where we are all things marriage and family therapy. Doesn't technically have to be for how to pass the exam, how to take the exam. If you want to use whatever is on this channel to apply it to how you're going to work with your clients, your families, your individuals, whatever the case may be, please utilize this channel. But we are all marriage and family therapy over here, right? We are getting started with the DSM-5, and I am going to start with the anxiety disorders. I see that there are some questions that may come up with some answer responses to disorders that people are saying like they've never heard of. So we're gonna take a dive into the DSM-5, but we're going to get started with the anxiety disorders. And on my screen before you, you see that there is a list of the anxiety disorders that we are going to be covering. And as usual, if you feel as though you need to pause this video to look at this, please let me know. I can also provide the PDF formats for what is in these slides. However, it's a lot of information. Don't overwhelm yourself with trying to read the screen. Just listen to the sound of my voice and I'm going to talk you through it. It's just there so that I do not forget anything, and it's there to provide information to each and every one of you that would like to take these slides and use them for testing or to use them with your clients. So the very first anxiety disorder that we're going to be talking about, it's the usual, it's the norm. It's the GAD, the Generalized Anxiety Disorder, where this is your excessive worry, apprehensive feelings. It's occurring like most days out of your life, right? But it occurs at least 6 different months. And on that list, those are the core features of Generalized Anxiety Disorder, right? Fatigue, you're having a difficult time concentrating, irritability, muscle tension, and you also have the sleep disturbance, right? But however, the anxiety, that worry, and the physical symptoms must cause insignificant distress or impairment to your daily functioning, right? 6 months. Work, school, any event, occasion, traveling, school performance, anxiety. These are the anxious and a worrying feeling where you're struggling to control your worry regarding certain circumstances or certain situations. At least 6 months. That is generalized anxiety disorder. Now, here we is. The generalized anxiety disorder can slide right on into a what? A panic attack. But panic attack is what? It's just this intense fear that you have, and it's going to come with physical symptoms, right? But the more and more panic attacks you have, that leads you to what we call a panic disorder, right? I would be lying to you all if I said that I do not have them. I used to have them all the time. I myself have a panic disorder, and it feels as though you just need to get up and just run. When I remember having my very first panic attack, something was telling me to just run, but it's like that's the adrenaline that's rushing in your body that's telling you to do so. Nothing's wrong, nothing's going on, there is no threat or harm, but you feel as though something's about to happen. I felt like I was having a heart attack. I felt like I was going to die. It's just this feeling that you have that it's terrible. It's like this very scary feeling. Tingling sensations all over my body. That happened. I didn't have feelings of choking. And if you notice, everything that I just described about my panic attack is on this list, right? It's on this list. And I too thought that I was actually going crazy. And the thing about it is, you can be calm and that panic attack is just going to come. No lie, that is what was happening to me. That is exactly what was happening. But it's going to peak within minutes, and during which 4 or more symptoms have to occur, right? So to be diagnosed with a panic disorder, it's like you had a panic attack and then you're fearing that another one is going to happen, right? That fear of dying. Chest discomfort, the pain where you feel as though you're having a heart attack and you're not. Heating sensations, feeling cold, tingly sensations all over your body and feeling like you're going crazy. That is your panic disorder. Selective mutism. Here is one that you do not hear all the time, but selective mutism is just a consistent way that a person is not speaking in specific social situations. You may talk, you may be social in other parts of certain social situations, but then there's like this specific social event where you're just like, I'm not speaking, I'm not talking. 1 month. 1 month, and it's not limited to the first month of school. So at least 1 month this has to occur before you can be diagnosed with selective mutism. It's not because you don't have the knowledge. It's not because like uncomfortable with it or whatever. It's like it's really anxiety, right? It's an anxious like feeling, and it interferes with a lot of things, right? I just keep thinking like it's mostly in childhood, right? It's just kids, it's the little kids, and it's like most adults, it's like, well, if as an adult you're struggling speaking in a certain social situation, then I guess we can control it and say, I don't want to go. But then we need to be thinking about another diagnosis when that happens, right? But then, yes, it's usually typically the young children that are diagnosed with selective mutism. Specific phobia, I see people getting tripped up with this one. And a specific phobia is fear, anxious feeling about a specific object or a situation, like heights, fear of flying, needles, seeing blood, spiders, if I do say so myself, because that's one of mine. I am very afraid of spiders, and I don't know why, right? It's just immediate fear of anxiety. It's no harm or anything, but it's like I can be sitting right here right now, and there's like this spider that's right here, and I'm just like freaking out. I'm scared. Like I can't even kill a spider sometimes. Somebody else has to do it because I'm even afraid to kill it, right? It's just an intense fear or anxiety that you're gonna have. It's out of proportion to something that is like really dangerous. Like, is that spider really dangerous to me? Well, then again, I guess you do think about other spiders that could be actually dangerous, but I highly doubt that there's a dangerous spider living here in my place, but yet I'm still afraid of them anyways, right? And then 6 months or more. 6 months or more. So I know for a fact I have a specific phobia when it comes to spiders and when it also comes to flying. If I do mention that, those are my specific phobias, okay? So it's just a specific object or situation that is out of proportion to actual danger, right? Seeing blood is not going to hurt you. That spider may not hurt me unless it's poisonous, unless it's dangerous. We already talked about that. And the thing about flying, getting on an airplane, I don't know. I guess my fear is that it's going to crash. I mean, what other fear is that I'm going to have other than it's going to crash? But anyways, those are my specific phobias. That is how you understand and look at a specific phobia. 6 months or more. Social anxiety disorder. This is the fear of anxiety in social situations because you fear that others are going to scrutinize you, right? So it's like even meeting unfamiliar people, having a conversation with somebody else. Oh, am I saying the wrong thing? Like, what if they see straight through me? What if they think I'm lying? What if I'm not doing this? That is your social anxiety disorder. Even giving a speech in front of other people. Oh my God, I'm going to look like an idiot. They're going to talk about me. I know that I'm going to trip up on a word, and then people are going to be posting about it on social media. That's your social anxiety disorder that's coming in. It's always going to provoke fear or anxiety before you even get to what you're supposed to be doing. If you are avoiding it, you are persistent in avoiding certain situations, it must last 6 months or more. If you're going to avoid it for 6 months or more, you have a social anxiety disorder. Sometimes, no, I can't say that about myself, or maybe I'm just like an introvert and I don't really like being around people. I don't really care about how other people are going to look at me because I'm fabulous and I know I am. But anyways, yes, social anxiety disorder. I think I'm just an introvert or whatever. But yes, if you're going to avoid it 6 months or more before you can be diagnosed with a social anxiety disorder. Agoraphobia. I don't know if anybody has ever watched Shameless, but yes, her in Shameless. Oh my God. What is her name? I cannot think of her name. She had agoraphobia. She was agoraphobia. She was afraid to leave the house. Being outside of the house, as soon as she would go outside of the house, everything was amplified to her. cars riding by, car horns going by, and it would increase her anxiety. So she wouldn't leave the home. She was afraid that like something was going to happen. If she need help or something, somebody wouldn't be there to help her if something was to occur. It's just, again, it is that fear and that anxiety, right? And it's out of proportion of an actual situation. And this too, again, 6 months or more. You're going to do what? You're going to have a fear of using public transportation, enclosed places, being outside, standing in line, or being in a crowd. Now, sometimes I can be that way too when it comes to crowds. I don't really like crowds because in a crowd, it's hard for me to see everybody in front, side, and behind me. So I get that, but it's not where I would avoid it. I can do it, but it's like people who have agoraphobia are just like, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to do it. I'm avoiding the situation by any means necessary. 6 months or more. Now, this is the last one. Separation anxiety disorder. Developmentally inappropriate and excessive fear or anxiety of concerning separation from those whom they are attached to. I get it. I know we sometimes say that, especially when it comes to like kids or whatever, when their parents are leaving and then they cry. Is that separation anxiety disorder? Can it be separation anxiety disorder? It can be, but it has to do what? It has to last for 4 weeks in children and 6 months in adults, right? And when that person or that child is separated from them, they have these thoughts that something bad is going to happen to them. They have these thoughts that they may not return, to them. They have dreams, maybe, that something is going to happen to this person that they are attached to. And sometimes there can be the physical symptoms that they may have. They may complain of, something's wrong, I just don't feel good, whether if it's a stomach ache or whether if it's a headache or something like that. But yes, 4 weeks in children, and it's typically going to be 6 months in adults before you can be diagnosed with separation anxiety disorder. And here's the thing about separation anxiety disorders. When can we say it's it's separation anxiety? If at some point it's like, well, they'll grow out of it, and then they're not diagnosed with it anymore. Like, that's what it's just something I was just thinking about. Like, oh, they'll grow out of it or whatever, but then do they still have the diagnosis? If they grow out of it, do they keep this diagnosis? It was just something I was just thinking about. But yes, these are all of your anxiety disorders in the DSM-5. All of them are pretty, I don't want to say easy to separate, because I don't want to say that because I know some people kind of like still struggle with how to separate certain disorders from one another, especially when they kind of like overlap with each other. So one of the things that I typically used to do is to help me study is to make a chart. Study the chart and look at the similarities and look at the differences, because sometimes they can overlap. Sometimes they will have this kind of like the same core features, some of the same symptoms that come with it, but then you need to take a look at that time frame, because sometimes that time frame is going to set one disorder apart from the other. Okay. But yes, these are all of your anxiety disorders. If anybody have any questions, comments, or concern, please feel free to leave me a comment, send me a message on Facebook, email me. I am getting flooded with tons of emails from my YouTube channel, so feel free to email me if you would like to. If you have any more questions, you need any more clarification, I am here to help and support you. I hope each and every one of you enjoy your Saturday. Have a good night.